We're not changing what we do. We're going to do what we do, but just find a new wrinkle, or there's always a better mousetrap.
Does that kind of keep the players, I guess, into it? Keeps them from thinking that they know everything?
Well, it does, because they don't. I can tell you, they don't know everything. They're a long way from knowing everything, but no, it helps keep them fresh, keep them on point, and anytime you bring back new ideas and new ways to do things, and new terminology, you always keep everybody kind of up to speed, and kind of keep them kind of fresh in that regard.
You like Oklahoma State's passing game, I guess?
Yeah, we did. They do a great, do a lot of really good things. They're more of a pass to run or pass to win, and we're more of a balanced attack. And so, could you go out there and get a few things, odd and end things? The way they move Blackman around, I thought they did a great job moving him around all over the field, and so that was kind of our approach. Is how did they move Blackman around? What are the different concepts that they did with him? Just things like that. Just go out and you try to find just a new wrinkle here and there. And again, when you come back and you add something, you have to throw something away, and I'm a firm believer in that. So we have to pick and choose what we want to toss out and what we want to add.
And the visit to Nevada was geared more toward the running game.
It was absolutely. They had some really good play actions, but more so the running game, more of a downhill run. They've always been, over the last 6 years, they've been in the top 5 in the country in total offense, and running the football, more importantly, which is extremely impressive. And so that's some of the things that, what are they doing out there that we can do? And it may be just one little bitty thing. It may be the way we take a step, or the way we do, the way we approach some terminology. And if you can get one little thing out of each visit, you've obviously made a successful trip.
You were frustrated at times last year with running the football, especially in short yardage. Was that a big emphasis for the offseason? It
is. It's a big emphasis right now in spring ball. There's no question about that. That's down. It got to be a down that you have to create accountability on, and that's what we're doing. The players know it. The players are very aware of it, and we're going to hold them accountable. And that's what you do. That's what we do. That's what you use spring for. And it's not about how many plays you can get in. Can you get the whole offense in? I don't know, and I really don't care. It's just, can we get good at the things that we weren't very good at last year? And we've taken 5 practices. We've definitely stepped in the right direction. We've got to keep mentally straining them, and putting them in mentally tough situations to where that they feel like they can't go anymore. And when they don't think they can go anymore, then that's where we got to be right there to put our foot up their tail and to let them know, what, we can go some more, and we're going to go some more.
How would you assess the offensive line through 5 practices where it's at right now?
Much better, much better. Again, a lot of ownership taking place up front, accountability up front. And that was one of the things that our goal was coming in. Obviously it all falls back on short yardage, but putting a lot of pressure on them up front and holding them accountable. So where we are after 5 practices, obviously we're stepping in the right direction. We're far from feeling like we've arrived, any one of us, but we are making progress, and you can see it every day.
Any of those new guys in particular that are fighting for spots that have impressed you throughout through 5?
Well, Kaylon Davis has. Kaylon has done some good things. Tyler Shatley has jumped in there and given just an instant boost. Obviously his athleticism, his toughness, his demeanor has given us that. I've been pleased with that. Gift Timothy has been a guy that's got flashes. He's like a sparkler on the 4th of July. You light him up, and he looks good, and he'll burn out. And we got to keep him lit. That's the thing with him. But the flashes we see, they're good flashes. We got to get into that mental grind and keep mentally pushing him.
Last year, one of your quotes was, "If they don't bite as puppies, they're not going to bite as big dogs." Now you got a bunch of puppies to train. How do you get them to bite?
And that's right. Well, you got to force them to bite. However you do it, you got to force them to bite. And we do. He has some young guys that are wanting to bite, and that's always promising. You see those guys down in Paul Drill, those young ones that should be going to their prom or hanging out at a baseball game or a track meet, at their high school. You see those guys right now, and they're out there in Paul Drill, and they're being physical, and they're playing physical. They don't know what direction to go, what to do, but you line them up and say go forward. They're going to go forward, and they're going to do it with some authority and do it with a bad attitude. And I do like to see some of that. Most of them that are here right now are totally just, it's like running through the San Francisco fog right now for them. They can't hardly see a step in front of them. because things are happening so fast. And I keep telling them, just keep running, it'll clear up. And you may hit something along the way, but just bounce off of it and keep going. But just keep playing fast and playing aggressive, and all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Talked last year about this time, the importance of having the center and quarterback in tune with you for the tempo. I imagine having those guys back for a second year around is getting even better.
Yeah, you know, we averaged scoring a touchdown or field goal every 13.7 snaps last year. We've got to increase our snap total. In order to do that, you got to pick your you got to pick your tempo up. How do you do that? You got to have your quarterback and your center on the same page and playing fast, and that's their goal this spring, as we're challenging them every day. And so you know, I'm excited about that. We're charting loafs, what we would call them loafs. If we feel like that they're wasting a rep because they're walking around, we'll chart a loaf, and then they'll get to do a few up downs after practice because of it. So they're being held accountable with it. I'm very pleased with the pace that we're playing at, but you know, we got to keep playing faster. And but we're stepping in the right direction. I mean, there's no difference. There's no question. And you would expect we're so much further ahead right now than we were this time last year, obviously, because you got so many more, you know, the retention level of those guys. But I would say that we are we're on pace right now. You know, very pleased on pace right now to really kind of push this offense the latter part of spring, to really kind of step into some of the areas that they hadn't experienced yet because we didn't put it in. So if we get there, great. And we're on pace to do it right now. But still, you got to get good at something. And that's what we're trying to do.
Is there sort of a percentage of the playbook you'd like to get in by the first game?
You know, I thought that you would, you know, I always thought, man, I'd like to have, coming into year 2, like to have 80–85% of it in if we could. I just want to get good at something. And if that's the inside zone, the outside zone, and the power, then in some passing game, then great. At least you can master that. And I think we will. I think all that'll take care of itself. And so, you know, we're more focused on technique and the fundamentals of football than we are adding anything in any terminology right now. I mean, it all starts with steps with the O-line. And can I knock you 1 yard off the ball, or am I going to knock 1 yard off the ball? Because that's where the game's won.
This time a year ago, you had Nuke and a relatively unproven group of receivers. Talk about what a difference a year makes in that regard.
Well, you know, this time a year ago, I barely knew where the practice field was, so at least I know where it is now. These guys, these receivers are, you know, again, a year into the system. You would expect them to be better, and they are. Again, you're able to focus so much more on technique and fundamentals than you are terminology, and now we can break down the precise route running, keeping your shoulders low, doing the little things that maybe we talked about, we drilled it once or twice, but you couldn't spend the time on because you had to progress to, hey, here's your progressions. So now you're able to really break those down this spring and see that. And, you know, we got to keep playing fast. You know, Martavius Bryant's a player right now that has, as we all know, has unbelievable potential. And he's got to turn it loose a little bit more. He's doing good, but we got to keep challenging him. And Nuke is a player right now that's playing fast. He's stronger than he's ever been because he's been through a year of off season, and you can sense his confidence. He's making some unbelievable plays on the field. Sammy is what you would expect with Sammy right now. We got to keep coaching Sammy harder and demand more out of him. He hadn't arrived yet. And he may think he has, and he doesn't. But we got to keep coaching Sammy harder and demand more out of him, and that's what he wants as a player, as all good players, very good players. Jerron Brown is another young man that's really caught our eye this spring. Again, a senior, you would expect his leadership. He's doing a great job in controlling those younger guys and helping them out. So I'm excited about the direction of our skill guys. We just got to keep getting better, and that's what it is every day.
How have you seen Brandon Ford adapt to his new role, replacing Wayne Allen?
You know, Brandon's really, you know, my big challenge to Brandon was, I challenged him. I didn't know if he could be tough enough coming into the spring to play that position and to play 80 snaps a game. He's trying to prove me wrong, or prove us all wrong, and doing a good job of it. Again, challenging him to be physical and run and play fast, and you know, Brandon's going to be just fine. I'm really excited about Brandon. Brandon is a guy that he wants to do right and doing some really good things.
Dalton may be as important as anybody else on this offense, but who are you running in there to kind of back him up? And
well, you've got 3 of those guys right now. Obviously, you got Ryan Norton and you got Jay Guillermo. Those are 3 right there that are kind of getting some reps in. Obviously, Ryan's a little ahead of Jay because he's been here through a fall camp. You know, that's kind of what we have right now with them, getting those guys some reps.
Sorry. How about the running backs? What have you seen out of those guys?
Andre Ellington, you know, Andre's had a productive spring up to this point. We know what we're going to get out of Andre. We got to keep pushing him. Hot Rod and DJ are guys, again, that've gone through an off season, getting a little bit stronger, pushing those guys to play fast and to think fast. And that's been their challenge. When they get a little bit tired, they quit thinking. Zach Brooks is a true freshman that is really doing well. I'm very pleased with Zach. He brings a bigger body style than all of them. Again, he's like all the freshmen. He's running through a haze, but he's running. Sometimes he runs high and he gets hit. He hits something, or somebody hits him high, but he's learning. And very, very excited about Zach Brooks. Mike Bellamy is a guy that can break the game open in any step, any play on the field, and doing a good job. We got to continue to push Mike, because Mike is unbelievable talent for us, and he's definitely showing it out on the field. We got to get his pass protection.
Do you think Zach's going to be ready to contribute to the offense?
Yeah, you know, I don't know about that. Zach needs to add some weight, but Zach's doing a good job. His pass protection, he never had to pass protect in high school, so I'm excited about Zach and the future of him. But you know, I don't know at this point, is he ready?
You know, last year everybody